C.P. Chong. In fact, as a founder chairman of CNN Group of Professional Company and KTC Group of Accountant Institute. So today we are going to produce the YouTube program, The Truth of Financial Planning, as a strategy to counter our economic crisis. So now, as far as my background is concerned, I'm a chartered accountant of United Kingdom, as well as a chartered accountant of Singapore and Malaysia. I'm also certified financial planner of Malaysia. Now, today's topic is basically talk about financial planning. So financial planning, in fact, is different from accounting. So as a financial planner is an expert to assist the individual to achieve financial freedom as soon as possible, as early as possible. I believe the method or the strategy of financial planning that I'm going to share today will be extremely useful for all of you to tackle the most severe financial crisis in the past 60 years because of COVID-19. So based on the latest report, in China, there are already more than 80 million unemployed because of the COVID-19. In USA, past 3 months, there are more than 30 million of Americans become unemployed because of COVID-19. In Malaysia, we forecast in between 2 to 3 million of the Malaysians will be retrenched because of COVID-19. In Singapore, we expect 200,000 to 300,000 of the employees will be retrenched because of COVID-19. That's why now, COVID-19 will result the most severe crisis in the past 60 years. So now, how to tackle this problem through the financial planning strategy and method. So as an accountant, chartered accountant, normally we are helping the corporate client to maximize their corporate wealth. So that's why a lot of these so-called big corporation, right, will engage the accountant as a financial controller, as a senior accountant to help them to manage the whole company resources in order to maximize their corporate wealth. That is under accountant's role. Whereas a financial planner basically is the expert, the specialist, to help the individual to achieve the financial freedom as early as possible. That means, in order to achieve the financial freedom, an individual must have enough income to enjoy life, to pay for their living expenses without working, under passive income. So that means now, basically, if you want to achieve the financial freedom, then you need to accumulate enough passive income as early as possible. Then you can retire also as early as possible. So today, before we talk about proper step of financial freedom, okay, we try to talk about the foundation, the key thing that individuals need to do in order to tackle this crisis. So we start from the cash management. Okay, so day-to-day cash management is very important for every one of us in this coming COVID-19 economic crisis. Okay, so that means now most of the individuals in the whole world are somehow do not know how to manage their cash properly. Based on the survey made in Malaysia, there are about 70% of Malaysians, when they reach the age of 55, the retirement age, okay, their EPF account has less than 100,000 ringgit. And within the 5 years, most of these retirees will spend all their money. Now, based on the survey of Malaysia, it indicated that the average lifespan of Malaysia as a male, Malaysian life is around 70 years old, average lifespan. As a female Malaysian, the average lifespan is about 75. So that means now, when you retire at the age of 55 and spend all your EPF within the 5 years, when you reach the 60 year, then you are out of cash. So we have no cash in hand, and then you need to survive another 10 to 15 years or even longer. Then your life will be very miserable. Okay? So that's why here, it's better for you to start doing your proper financial planning now, rather than wait until you're 60 years old, running out of cash, then you start thinking of what to do. That is a bit too late. Now, for the younger group, now in Malaysia, in Singapore, Japan, and in Hong Kong, a lot of this country, a lot of youngsters nowadays, they are should bankrupt before the age of 30. The main reason why they will become a bankrupt before the age of 30 is mainly because the youngsters nowadays, after their degree course, when they start work, they do not need to so-called sponsor their parent or pay for their parent living expenses like what we did before. Okay, most of these youngsters, when they have their this high income after the degree course or become a degree holder, right? So they will be stuck spending their own money, and no need to spend whatever money they earn. They always overspend. When they always overspend, they will start trying to get a credit card. So, and using credit card to cover those amounts that they overspend. So after some time, when they are not able to repay their credit card liability, then they will be sued by the credit card company and to become a bankrupt. That's why here now, in Malaysia, Singapore, I believe throughout the world, I think the two group of people, one group is those older people, another group is the younger people. Both also have financial problem and financial crisis before the COVID-19 problem coming up. So with this COVID-19, it result the most severe financial crisis will aggravate the problem of these people. That's why here today I try to enlighten all people, right, to use a financial planning strategy so that you can try to cushion all this problem somehow. So first thing first, now if you want to so-called solve your problem, first thing first is start from the cash management. How to spend your cash wisely day to day. How to change your living habit, your lifestyle, your spending habit in this next coming 3 to 5 years. Okay, it's the most important one. So in the modern day, most of the people somehow are brainwashed by this so-called all those businessmen through the advertisement, through the social media, right? So try to so-called promote their product, okay, especially the branded product, okay. So through the advertisement, so and then try to so-called brainwash the youngster to have a lifestyle and start using all the branded product. So now a lot of youngsters are somehow being brainwashed by all this advertisement and start trying to aim for the branded product like branded car, branded bag, branded clothing, cosmetic, beauty product, watches. So now, once this youngster start buying all the branded product, for example, one good quality leather bag without brand may cost you 500 ringgit. These people may pay 5,000 or 50,000 for one bag just because of the brand. Now, for youngsters, normally if they can earn high income, first thing first, what they will do is that they will be buying a branded car. Because him or cost her 300,000 ringgit to 500,000 ringgit, right? So, but they don't realize that now those cars they bought for 300,000 and 500,000 after 10 years, the value will drop till maybe 30,000 to 50,000. So now, in fact, as far as the youngsters are concerned, right, try not to show off. If you earn a higher income, not necessarily that you must buy all the branded car, branded bag, branded product in order to prove that you have a very high class lifestyle. Okay? So that means now, somehow, as a youngster, if you know how to spend your money wisely, even you earn in between 3,000 to 5,000 ringgit a month, you will be able to save a lot of money. Okay? Now, for those youngsters who do not know how to save money, how to use their cash, their disposal income wisely, even they earn 30,000 to 50,000, still they cannot have enough money to spend. So all the time have to live beyond their means. So as a financial planner, so live within your means is very important. Okay? So now today, the first thing first, as I say here, everybody, when you are facing this economic crisis, you have to start from your daily expenditure, your daily spending habit, to change your habit, to control your day-to-day expenses is the most important step that you need to do. Okay? Now, for example here, if you want to drink a coffee, right? You buy those coffee that you can buy in the hypermarket, maybe one bag with 15 small little bag inside may cost you 12 ringgit, right? But you go to Starbucks to drink a cup of coffee may cost you 15 ringgit. So that means now, instead of go to Starbucks to drink your 15 ringgit coffee, you make one coffee yourself, it costs you less than 1 ringgit. You see that? So that's why if let's say you got smoking habit, one day we spend a lot of money on smoking. At the same time, it may damage your health, cost you a lot more medical fee to pay. So that means now, during this time, is a time that you need to consider very seriously to kick off your bad habit of smoking, drinking, right, which can damage your health. So I mean, to change your lifestyle, to change your money spending habit, can save you a lot of money, at the same time can improve your health so that you don't need to incur so much of the medical expenses in the next 3 to 5 years. So now, as far as the youngster is concerned, or even the adult, older people, right? So here, during the economic crisis, the chances for you to make more money is very slim, right? So now when you can make less money the time, okay, how to save money is very crucial now. Okay, so that's why here, first thing first, they say here, you need to spend your every single cent very wisely. Okay, now for the family member, like this married couple with the kids. For example, now, if you send your kids to all the international school for primary school and secondary school. Okay, if you cannot afford to pay for it during the crisis, it's high time for you to consider now how to transfer them to the government school, either Chinese primary school or Malay primary school, you are Malay couple. Okay, so or Indian primary school, you are Indian couple. Now, then for secondary school, perhaps you all can transfer them to government school or Chinese independent school, you are Chinese. Now, by doing that, I believe you can save a lot of monthly expenses for the school fee. So the main expenditure in the family, on average as a Malaysian, I believe is on your education expenses as a married couple or your kids, your car loan, your housing loan. So if you already bought a house, of course, you still have to continue paying your housing loan. So that means if you already bought a car, so then if you have not finished your payment of the car loan, perhaps you still have to continue. But those young couple will not commit the so-called your purchase of the house or purchase of car. When you want to buy a car or buy a house, try to think carefully. Now, first thing first, okay, try not to buy the expensive car. In Malaysia, I think if you buy Potong Saga, Myvi, it will cost you 30,000, 50,000 to get a brand new car without problem. But if you buy a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW, it costs you 300,000 to 500,000 easily. You see that? So during crisis, the time, so it's not advisable for you to buy expensive car. End up, you have a high installment, and end up, your car after using 10 years, in fact, left only 10% of the value. Okay? So, now, in order to so-called achieve your financial freedom as soon as possible, okay, try to minimize your expenditure, right, and try to have more saving. Okay, if you have extra money, okay, then you can save it and for investment purpose. Okay, now, so after you change your so-called habit of expenditure, next thing is talk about financial planning. So today I only concentrate to brief you a few steps of financial planning very briefly, okay, so that you know what to do, okay, beside your cash management, okay. So now the first step in the financial planning, we talk about insurance planning. So for insurance planning, now most likely if the married couple, right, so now if you want to buy insurance, try only buy your life insurance to cover your risk, but not the investment insurance. Don't ever buy insurance for investment purpose. As far as a financial planner is concerned, it's not a good strategy to buy insurance for investment. You just buy insurance enough to cover your risk for your family, for your loved one. Okay? Don't ever over-insure. Okay? Now, so you need to find out what is the appropriate amount of insurance sum for your life insurance only. Okay? Now, the second insurance that you need to consider is when you are buying a house, to get a mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is basically to make sure that this loan can be repaid if something happened to you, so that your family still can have a house fully paid, okay, by the insurance company, so that your loved one can still live comfortably with the insurance amount compensation, with this mortgage insurance, where the insurance company can pay off all the loan for you when something happened to you. Now, the third one, of course, is the medical insurance. So as far as medical insurance is concerned, it all depends on the country. Now, in Malaysia and Singapore, we have a better so-called insurance, so-called all this package. We got this, of course, if you want to go for private hospital, then you can cover your medical insurance. If you want to go to government hospital as a Malaysian, then you may not need to consider this area. Okay. So after the investment insurance planning, the next is called about investment planning. In the investment planning, okay, that means whatever this money that you save, after you cover your risk of so-called through the insurance planning, so whatever money that you have left, the first thing first, you have to buy a house for your own use. Okay? So that is a kind of compulsory saving, especially for the youngster. Okay? So now after you fully paid your first house, then you can use your extra money to buy second house and third house. The second house and third house that you invest, when you collect rental, that will become your passive income when you retire. Okay? So that's why here, now, how much of this passive income you can get, it depends on how much of the investment you make. Okay? So on top of that, okay, after your this so-called insurance planning and investment planning, of course, investment can be many ways. You can invest in share market, you can invest in property, right? So besides the house that you stay, but the most important thing is that, I mean, because of the time concern, I just teach you the simplest way. I mean, buy a house for your own use, buy a house for rental, so that easier for you to work out. Okay. Now, the third step is about income tax planning. Okay. In the income tax planning, of course, our objective of income tax planning is to minimize your tax payable. Okay, I believe you need a tax expert. I think if you have any problem about tax planning, you can contact our tax department, Miss Wong. Okay, so for your proper tax planning to be done, in order to minimize your tax payable. So after the tax planning, then we talk about estate planning. Now, when you have a so-called going through the proper financial planning, right? So you should have very comfortable so-called retirement life, right? And at the end of the day you may not be able to spend all your money, right? So whatever asset that you left behind, you can prepare a will. Okay? Now, so the will writing to a Chinese normally is they are quite suspicious. Normally, most of the Chinese will think that to write a will is when you want to die, right? But in actual fact, will writing is a very simple procedure. Okay? So now, if you want to write a will anytime that you want, you can do it yourself. So what you need is just to put in your name, your IC number, your address clearly, put your beneficiary name, IC number, and address clearly, and state down your asset that you want to dispute clearly. Then you need 2 witnesses to sign at the same time as a witness for you after your signing, to witness your signature. Then your whatever will that you write, whether it's in English or in Chinese, is valid. Okay? So that's why here, will writing is normally essential step for estate planning. Okay? So today, because of the time concern, I have only about half an hour to guide you about how to do the financial planning. Alright. So I hope the simple step that I already enlightened to you can help you, alright, to be able to save more money, right? Whether it's on the so-called car installment, on the education expenses, on the housing installment if you have not buy your car and buy your house. So try to buy the car, buy the house that you can afford to pay the installment. Right? So make sure that you save more money for your investment purpose. Okay? So that you can achieve your financial freedom as soon as possible. Thank you very much. So today I have 2 groups of my center manager and departmental head with me. Okay. In fact, I just try to introduce them to say hello to you. So at least you know them when you need assistance from them. We start from Mr. Alan as our KTC JB Center Manager. Mr. Alan.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. So I'm Mr. Alan. So I'm the Center Manager of KTC Accountant Institute Johor Bahru. So if you are looking for professional accounting courses such as Diploma in Accounting, ACCA program, LCCI, and you are welcome to call my office or you can call my mobile number. Okay, nice to meet you.
The next person is our Skudai Branch Manager, Mr. Oscar.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Oscar, the Center Manager of KTC Accountant Institute of Skudai. We provide all subjects of tuition classes and accounting diploma, also ACCA. You are welcome to visit our center for further inquiries. Thanks.
Yes. Next person is our Center Manager in Desa Chonglang, Mr. Aaron.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Aaron from Desa Chonglang. I'm the Center Manager here and you are welcome to contact us for any course details regarding accounting or any short courses relating to computer software. Thank you.
Yes. Next person is our Deputy Manager, Ms. Nini from Desa Chonglang.
Good morning, I'm Ms. Nini from KTC Accountants Institute, Desa Chonglang branch. I'm the Assistant Center Manager here. If you have any inquiries regarding tuition program for primary or secondary syllabus, you can contact us anytime.
So the right, we are this departmental head of the CNA Group of Professional Company. The first person is Ms. Teo from our Secretarial Department.
Hi, I'm Ms. Teo from CNA Corporate Management, Corporate Secretarial Department. So if you all need any assistance on corporate secretarial matter, you can contact me.
So the next is our tax departmental head, tax manager, Ms. Wong.
Hi, my name is Ms. Wong. I'm from CNAGS Tax Department. You are welcome to contact me for any tax services or tax consultant. Thank you.
So next person is Ms. Dobby as our center manager in charge of audit.
Hi everyone, I'm Dobby from CNA Audit Department. You can feel free to contact me for any auditing service.
The last person is Mr. Jimmy. He's a departmental head for accounting department.
Hi, this is Jimmy from CNA Account Department. Should you have any inquiries on accounting service, you may contact me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. See you.